All right, another good old back testing session. Let's go ahead and get started. Same old, same old. We're gonna pick a. I'm not gonna take a bunch of time with this. We're gonna be very optimized and efficient. I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 10, so it'll be 3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. That's CAD JPY. Very efficiently, I'll go to the CAD JPY FXCM chart. Remove all drawings. We'll pick another random number. 2. Wow, we're gonna scroll back 2 seconds. Let me go way out just to make sure this is fair. All right, 1, 2. Then there's the replay tool right here. So August of 2020. Okay, cool. This is fair. Still went back a good amount. And let's get it going. So let's start, what should we do? $1,000 or a $500 account? Let's pick a number between 1 and 2. 1 is 500, 2 is 1,000. 2, so we'll start a $1,000 account. So $1,000 account. Let's go ahead and just, let's get it on. Let's trade. Let's get it going. So I'm going to drop some clear zones here. Looks like for now we have a support zone right here. We've got resistance up here. Got a couple little sub zones in here, but so far these ones are the most clear. Here we go. Tested support. We've bounced. Technically it's right here on the rejection. So there's a trade. Stop below the zone, target at 1 to 1.25, and let's get it. So that one won 1,000, shoot, 1,000 times 1.5, 50% winner, 1,500. All right, let's play some ping pong here. Let's play some bouncy ball. Have a resistance here now. We've already respected it. I'm gonna wait for us to push up further into the resistance zone again. Yeah, I need a further test. There we go, a further test in resistance, and then it started to fall in that second candle. So that's a trade right there. Let me go ahead and make sure. Let's drag this further up to include that previous wick up there. Just want to make sure we're doing it, and then yeah, so 1 to 1.25. So this is good. So now we'll see if it plays out. That let's close that right there. That looks like it's breaking and closing above. So this is a one. Actually, you know what? You know what? Let's do a little experiment right now. This is an experiment because I've already done a lot of this stuff. But we got the 3 trading rules, right? Price comes to a clear support resistance area. Second, price starts to reject. Third, enter a trade, 40% risk, 50% gain, 1 to 1.25 risk reward. And the one trade management rule. Close the trade early if it starts to close above the zone. You know what? Instead, I have an idea. Let's see if this works, okay? I've never done this before. We'll use a tighter stop loss just above the zone, and we'll just let it play out. We'll just let it play out. We'll let it either hit the profit target or the stop loss. Let's see how this goes, okay? Yeah, so let's let it play out. This will mean like less work for y'all. So it hasn't hit the stop, that hasn't hit the target yet. Damn, that was stupid. So if the stop was a little bit tighter, so I guess technically the stop for us would have been right there. We would have had the profit target hit. But let's just say, you know, we lost this fair and square. We'll leave it alone. But for the next trades, we'll use a little bit tighter of a stop loss, and then we'll just let it play out, shall we? So this time is 0.6. We're at 900. Let's keep going. We'll see how well this works, or how bad it works. That's a test. That's rejection right there. Let's put the stop right above the zone, and then profit target 1 to 1.25. Let's see if it plays. That one worked. 900 times 1.5, 1350. Had a closure above the zone, then a retest. For some reason the retest was right there at that zone. So now we've got like a little 2-zone situation here. We've got like a little cowboy 2-step zone right here. I don't know. we'll just let's let it continue going. If we see something convincing, then we'll take it. So we're testing the zone. No real bullish rejection at all, just a straight bear run through the zone. A test of this zone, rejection, and then bounce. Then we come up and we test this zone and reject and close down there. This is crazy. This is wild. Let's just not use these zones anymore. Let's leave those alone. So we've came in here to this support resistance zone now. Tested. This is a huge bear run though. We don't want to get run over by the bears. Let's wait to see if it rejects. So there we go. Now we have a little bit of bullish rejection. So bullish rejection, put a stop just below the zone, 1 to 1.25, and let this play out. This would be interesting if this works, because if it does work, that means you guys can pretty much just ignore rule 3. You'll take a few more stop outs, but you know, whatever. But you would essentially only have 3 rules to look out for. So that means like your day would be so simple. You would just set alerts at the clear support resistance zones. Then if price gets there, you just check back, you know, once every hour for a couple seconds. If it rejects the zone, you place the trade, and you just leave it alone. That'd be pretty cool. But we'll see. I don't know how well it will work. This one came back to the zone, tested it, pushed up, went to the profit target, so that was good. So cool. 1350 times 1.5. We're at 2K now. Yeah, the key is you want clear zones. You don't want to be using any sketchy zones. I'm going to be using the stuff that's the most clear. Alright, let's go ahead and call this the resistance right here. It respected it, it rejected it again, then we came back and rejected it again. This right here, let's go ahead and take a trade here at this zone. It was a previous resistance right here twice. We did have this zone higher up, but for some reason price couldn't get there. We came up here, rejected the zone again, and then started bouncing downwards. We need to extend it all the way to that extreme high of the wick right there, and then also to the lowest candle closure, which at that time it was right there. We did have a candle reject and close down there. So yeah, so this was kind of below the zone. So let's say, so if the entry would have been right there on that rejection of the resistance, stop loss would have been just above the zone in the previous high, which would have been right there. Targeted at 1 to 1.25. So all right, let's see if this one would have ended up playing out. So yeah, continue away from the target. So that's good. Typically a resistance zone, after 2 nice bounces, you can start drawing them. Same with support. There was a nice bounce right there, and there's also the second bounce in here. And then of course you just adjust them. You'll have so much time to do this throughout the day. Adjust them to where the candle closures are at. So for this one, we have a pin in there. Candle closures down here. Be something like this. You've actually had 3 bounces. We've had that one, and then this one right here. So something like that. All right, we'll go and add this one in real quick. So that times 1.5, we're at like 3K now. Yeah, a little over 3K. All right, we'll see. Here we go. We came into this support zone, but there was no rejection at all. The support zone did not get rejected. You don't want to get rejected in real life when you're going to prom for a date, but you do want to get rejected here in at the zones you're trading off of. Because if you get rejected, that means that you win. You get into a trade. So we've had a test, and we've had a rejection. This is kind of, it's kind of a far thing right there. It's kind of tested lower, but the rejection was right there. It did technically come up into the zone. Did it come to the previous low? Yeah, it has to at least come to like the previous lows of the zone. So that was the most recent low. It technically came there. So that was fine. It rejected, closed, bearish. Put a stop loss just above the zone. It could still come further and test and reject, but if it comes up there, we'll call that a losing trade. And a 1 to 1.25 profit target. No, she's reversing. So this one hit the stop. We're out for a 40% loss. So times 0.6, down to like 2K again. We keep going. Here we go. Slung back into the support zone, rejected. So that was a bullish rejection right there. Stop doesn't really have to go much further than that previous low. This is the support resistance zone. That's the most recent extreme low that was formed. So stop loss just distance below that low, targeted at 1 to 1.25. So in this case, I mean, within the next 2 hours, in the next 2 hours would have hit the profit target. That was cool. Pretty much made back what we lost. So sort of back to around 3-ish K, 3-ish thousand. Came to the resistance, started to reject. I feel like this is eventually going to break past the resistance. However, we don't want to overthink it. Entry there, stop loss just above the zone, targeted at 1 to 1.25. Risk reward, it either works or it doesn't. Oh, brother, we barely missed the target. Ah, that's... Yeah, so we got it there, luckily, but oh, that would have been... Didn't that just happen to us as well? Yeah, that happened to us back here. Otherwise, we'd be on a nice win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trade win streak. Instead, that one barely lost. But then keep in mind, though, if we are doing this rule, that stop would have been lower like that. Target would have been closer. This would have been, the stop would have been like just above the zone in the wick. The target would have easily gotten hit on that one. So, you know, you keep that in mind, my friend. You keep that in mind. If you're not going to be using like active trade management rules, like closing it early, keep in mind the idea of closing early is just to minimize the losses that way. Instead of a freaking 40% loss, you're doing like, you know, a 10, 20% loss. Sometimes even break even depending on the situation. So, but with this system, if you're not going to be using the active trade management system, meaning get out of the trade early if it closes above or below the zone, there's an extra layer of complexity removed for you. So that's kind of cool. And it also means that you don't have to play around with having your stop loss a good distance away to allow for the market to move in and out. You can literally have your stop just literally on the other side of the zone and above the most recent wick if it's a resistance, or below the most recent wick if it's a support. So, and your stop is probably like half the distance it would normally be. That usually means that as long as you get that initial push into profit, you're going to quickly have your profit target hit. It's a very interesting thing. Very interesting. So 2,700 times 1.5, 4,100. So, all right, let's keep going and see what we can snag here. Came back into the support zone, started bouncing. Let's not overthink it. It's coming to support, it's pausing, it's either going to bounce or it's not. It will be a loss or it will be a profit target. Does not matter what happens. All that matters is that we're taking all the viable trading opportunities. Yeah, so then it started showing some more good bullish rejection. Continued, so this is 4,100 times 1.5. 6,150. So we're what, like 2 trades away from the profit target? We'd have to win 2 more trades in a row, so I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know, whatever. I guess we'll find out, right? You never know. That's the cool part about trading. Outcomes are always uncertain. You just let it go. So we've had a nice move off the zone. We've come back, we've tested, we've bounced as support. So this is that bounce right there. That first candle was a bear closure into the zone. The second one right there, though, was a bullish engulfing. Well, not really an engulfing, but it's just a bullish candle, right? So entry there, stop below the zone, and a target at a 1 to 1.25. We need to come up here closer to the resistance for this to hit. So we'll let it play out. So that one hits the stop loss, and we're on to the next. So 6,150 times 0.6, 3,600. So that's the depressing part, is like, you know, whenever you do take a stop out, if you're not going to be using active trade management, it's going to be the 40% of the account. So you have to get those winning streaks. That means you should only be using zones that you think price is really likely to bounce at, just to improve your odds just a little bit, you know. Tested the support zone, bounced, closed with a bullish rejection. Entry there, stop just below the zone and the wick, and TP right there. So there we go. Let's see what happens. So this one is the stop loss too. So no bueno. Wait. So not times 1 times 0.6. Damn, that sucks. So 22. So we were up to like 6K. Now it's down to like 2K. All right. Well, we'll see what happens though, right? We'll see if it plays out. Where's our next support zone? Right here. So we'll see what happens down here. All right. Hit the support zone. Had a nice bounce. Entries there. Stop is just below the wick low in the zone right there. Take profit is pretty much there at that next resistance zone. We need a bullish follow through. for this to work out. And it does work out. That's good. It dipped back lower into the zone. So I guess what you could have done is adjust the zone after that wick pin below it. You could have adjusted the zone. It's still, stop loss still would have gone somewhere in there. Even if you had it distanced a little bit further, it looks like this target still would have been hit, and it still would have made sense because your target's still at the next resistance zone. So, I mean, yeah, so that was cool. All right. So 2200 times 1.5, slowly building back, you know, where we were at, 3300. See if we can get another win streak. This zone for me now, it doesn't look that clear to me anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and just disregard this zone. And then we'll just, especially now that it just broke through it, we'll just wait for something more clear. For some reason we found resistance right here, so let's use that resistance zone. That was a rejection, but the entry would have been terrible. Your entry would have had to have gone way down there. Let's see if it can pin back into the resistance and bounce. Doesn't look like it's going to make it. Might get a break or retest of this next support. There we go. Let's see if it reacts here. So we've had nice bounces 3 times here at this zone. We need a bearish rejection. All right, well, that's fine enough. I mean, rejects the zone with the bearish candle. Stop loss just needs to go pretty much like, I mean, this is a pretty good entry. So, I mean, it's right there at the tip top of the zone. So, I mean, it doesn't need to be much further really than even the wick, but let's just give it a little bit of room here. Take profit is easy because it doesn't even have to go past the previous low. It just has to have a little bit of a collapse here off the zone. Yeah, so it did go to the previous low and broke below, but yeah, but like I said, with this, if you're stopped, and like I said, you really don't even need your stop but further than that right there, but even then. So with something like this, it's cool because yeah, you just need that little bit of a collapse. So yeah, some of y'all might consider doing this. You know, give it a try, test it out on your own and see. For me, it just kind of depends on what the situation is. What's this times 1.5 back to 5K? So we're getting close. We're halfway to the target again. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, for some of y'all who don't want to take the time to do active trade management, or you don't have a lot of time in the first place, and you're worried you won't be able to have time to do this, yeah, it's a good thing you can do. This zone, I'm getting kind of weird about this zone because we don't know where it actually is anymore. It could be anywhere in this whole area. Let's try to find something a little bit more clear. All right, so this is good enough for me now. So we've rejected the zone, we've pushed up. It's had the opportunity to find resistance and continue down. But instead, I'm going to call this a good little bullish reaction here. This is enough evidence for me to show this support zone is probably going to get held. Stop loss just below the previous low in that area there. TP 1 to 1.25 will need to continue up. Have a nice little bounce off this zone for this to work out. And it doesn't. Wow, see? So that probably right there was the resistance zone. So it was breaking and retesting as resistance. So all right, whatever. On to the next times 0.6. This leaves us with a 3K. So we'll keep winning. Got to keep getting a win streak. We got to find a win streak again. So we could bounce here at this zone. Let's see. No trades, no trades. And it just murders below the zone. So it looks like for some reason there was a support zone up here, but you've got wicks bleeding below that area. I don't even see anything else super clear at all here. Let's wait for some recent structure to get created and just trade off that. In this case, we don't have the luxury of having any clear zones that we can see when we look left, so we'll have to use what recent structures get created. So right there is good, but the rejection, you would have never gotten an entry on here in the 1 hour. There we go. Came, tested the zone, had a little bit of a bearish wick rejection right there. Enter right there, stop just above the zone. It could probably be even closer than that, but That's all it has to be. And then, oh wow, already hit. Already would have hit the profit target. Yeah, that's good. Have that little fall away from the zone. So that's good. We also have another zone down here where we're acting as support. So this was good. So we're chipping. We keep on chipping away. We keep on trying. We're doing our hardest here. 4,400. All right, let's let it play out. Let the stats play out. I'm going to need a deeper retest in the support than that. But luckily we came after a long move down. We've come all the way back to the resistance. We rejected again. Entry right there. Stop just above. Target 1 to 1.25. Only the simple clear zones. No overthinking it. And just let it play out. That would have been a bomb if it would have like gone back up after almost hitting if it would have hit the stop after almost hitting the target. So again, like I said, clear zones, don't overthink, don't go crazy, don't start losing your mind. You know, it is what it is. Just take every trade that comes along, set logical stops, logical targets. It either wins or it loses. So in this 6,700, yeah, we're like 1 or 2 trades away from the target. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and not use this zone here on the bottom. I don't personally know if it's like something like that or not. It'd be better to just not use that zone. So this is a dilemma. At some point this zone is probably gonna get broken. We do have price making like a little uptrend now that it's coming up to the zone. But again, we don't need to use trend analysis with this system. It's already had a nice move away from the zone. It's not like it was just patching sideways like it was over here. This has come to the zone. It started to reject, had a little bearish candle away from the zone. I mean, this is technically still a good trade to take. And again, keep in mind, we're not trying to be a hero here and catch the whole next huge leg down. We just want the little bit of a bounce. So if we get the bounce, we win the trade. It is what it is. So like I said, this right here, I thought this was going to stop out, but again, you take the trading opportunities that come to you. If it's okay to take this trade if it comes back to the resistance zone after it's already had a big move. But again, if it starts hitting the zone and then it barely taps away, then it comes back a second time. Then it barely goes away, then it taps a third time, fourth time, fifth time, and it's just not having good reaction. You don't want to take those second, third, fourth retests. You just want to take the clear ones. So this one was a clear one. So what's this? 1.5 times winner. So times 1.5. Where are we sitting at now? So 10,000, barely crossed the profit target. So this was pretty cool. How long did this take though? Let's see that. This took 20th of August to September 29th. So this one took, instead of a month, it took about 5 weeks. So it took about 1 month and 1 week. But keep in mind, you're going to have plenty of other trading opportunities on all of the other pairs that you're trading. So it's okay. It's probably not going to take more than a month, but even if it does, it's cool. Like right, even if you're able to take like a 1K account to 10K, but it takes you 2 months, $9,000 profit. You had to wait 2 months instead of 1 month. You know, it's whatever. But then again, like I said, it usually won't. Like for me, it hasn't taken me more than a month to grow it. Well, I don't want to say that because it probably has at some point. I've done this on so many accounts. Like there's just like my CoinX and Hugo's Way is just stacked with like dozens and dozens of accounts that I've done this with. Half of them are blown, or half of them were like, I would lose like half of the account or a little bit more. I'd take like $1,000 account and it would end up at 400, and I would just scratch and like internal transfer the money out, refund a new 1K account. So I've got like tons of accounts that I've done this on. But essentially what's going to happen is a couple of them you'll take the growth target, and then the other half of them or a couple of them you'll end up like, you know, like it'll be losing, you know, your $500 account, you're left with like 300 or 250 in it. You know, it is what it is. But this was a pretty good session. So this is interesting. So this might be something that you look to add to your system or I guess subtract from your system. You might look to just, if you don't have the time or you don't want to use the active trade management system of closing the trade halfway to stop, focus on just getting clear zones. It's the most important thing. That's what keeps the win rate high, is finding zones where price is likely to bounce at anyway. And then that second rule comes in, is wait for the confirmation, the little candle pause there at the zone. It gets to the zone, it rejects it a little bit and pauses there. And then third rule, enter the trade with a 1 to 1.25 risk reward ratio. The only thing different would be, instead of spacing your stop really far from the zone, put your stop like closer, like literally just on the other side of the zone, the wick and everything, with the idea that if it's gonna bounce there, it's gonna have that little tick away from the zone. You're gonna have your profit target hit very easily. And if it doesn't work out, hits the stop, you run into a losing streak, scratch the account, start a new one, right? And then when you do get your winning streak, even with this one, we had wins and losses. One loss there, a loss there, a loss there, a loss there. We didn't really have a losing streak. The only losses were they were one at a time, right? So it was one loss here, then we had two wins, one loss there. Oh no, I'm sorry. We had a two losing streak right here. But keep in mind, your losing streaks can be more. They can be like 3, 4, 5 losses. When you lose like 3, 4, 5 trades in a row, that's usually the time where you're probably going to be like, I'll probably just scratch the account there. If they're full 40% stop outs. If they're smaller, like with the active trade management system, if they're only like 10% losses, 20% losses, you're usually it's going to be a little bit better because like you can take 3, 4 losses in a row and then you're still fine. But keep in mind, it just requires more work to use the active trade management system. If you have the luxury of being like a work from home job, or if you're like me and you trade full time, you have time to do this. That's okay. If you don't have time to do this though, and you're trading on the 1 hour, then this becomes a very simple system because like, oh my gosh, it's so stupid simple. You just wait for a clear support resistance zone, wait for price to get there, wait for the rejection, enter the trade, stop loss just above the zone, target, 1 to 1.25, and then let it play out. Whatever happens. If it stops out, whatever. If it hits the target, whatever. Like, on to the next trade. So yeah, this was pretty cool. Yeah, 1K to exactly like pretty much 10K challenge. Yeah, all right. See you in the next video. Hope you guys are learning a lot from seeing these.